This is India Rose with the Pearl Girls, and welcome to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. I wanted to tell you about a man named Paul Galtsoff, and that might be an awful pronunciation, but I hope y'all just come to understand I have awful pronunciation sometimes. It's just my Georgia roots. Okay, so he was born in Russia in 1887. He immigrated to the U.S. in 1921. And he had this background in invertebrate zoology. But the marine sciences weren't very big in the United States at the time. That was just something that, it just wasn't a major focus of research for us. So, but he was a naturalist, and he was hired by the Bureau of Fisheries. He was placed aboard a ship, the Albatross, and he became a lead shellfish researcher. So, the reason I'm bringing him up and the reason he's important is because he is the man in 1930 who went to the Pearl and Hermes Reef to study the oysters. Okay, so 1930, you can imagine, is when we had already harvested 150,000 oysters. When he went in 1930, he is the one who basically realized the whole oyster population had been decimated. Here is a quote from him. Many oyster banks, which to their discoveries appeared to be inexhaustible, were depleted in a very short time after the beginning of intensive fishing. Okay, so soon after he finished his study, pearl fishing was basically abandoned on the reef. So that was 1930, boom, everybody leaves, okay? But he didn't give up. So this is what's interesting. He thought if we can take some of these remaining oysters and put them somewhere else, maybe they could thrive. So this was kind of his hypothesis. So what he did is he took his ship, built saltwater tanks on the ship, and placed about a little over 300 oysters in those tanks and made the 8-day journey, 1,100 miles, to the island of Oahu. He placed these oysters off the north shore of Oahu. So, this is like around 300, I think it was 320 oysters. A couple of months later, they went and counted the oysters. There were 120, so they could only find maybe a third of that. But then the next year, they found 150. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is working. We're being able to revitalize these oyster populations. This is fantastic. The governor of Hawaii at the time actually created a protective order on the oysters. So, everybody's getting on board with these oysters. Then, fast forward to 1941, when the Japanese bombers came and attacked Pearl Harbor. I think we all know what a devastating tragedy that was, and that's where I am right now in Pearl Harbor. But it wasn't only a tragedy for U.S. military and civilians and everything that brought us in the war. We know all of that, but to the ocean life as well. So after that point, all of the oysters here, all of the oysters on the North Shore were totally decimated and gone. This is India Rose. Thanks for listening.